is the site of the 2019 Summer League. We will be watching the league's top prospects showcasing their talents over the next couple weeks here. But here today in the Thomas & Mack Center, we're hanging out. We're hanging out all day, Amin Al-Hassan.
We made it,
I'm
baby.
Rachel Nichols. Our front office insider, Amin Al-Hassan, is with us. 2008 NBA champion.
My God.
Kendrick Perkins is with us. This is going to be so much fun today. The Jump is with you 3 separate times throughout the day, getting you ready for all the Summer League games. And who knows? Maybe we'll have some Kawhi news as well. Here's what I know we're going to talk about coming up, though. Expectations for Zion Williamson versus R.J. Barrett tonight. We are going to get you locked in for that game later. First, though. Oh, yes. It's time for another episode of
What are y'all doing, man?
Kawhi Light Zone, the surreal world that we all live in now as we wait for the Kawhi free agency decision. And for those of you counting along at home, we are, yes, in day 6 of Kawhi Watch. He has met with the Lakers, the Clippers, the Raptors, and to those of you who thought Kawhi would, never fly his way all the way out to Toronto just to have a meeting, guess what, guys? Looks like he flew all the way to Toronto just to have a meeting. Earlier today, there was an aviation correspondent up there named Tom Polodek tweeted out some info that said that Kawhi was likely flying on that MLSE, that Raptors-owned parent company jet, back to San Diego. So he's now supposedly in Southern California, if that was ever really him at all, up in Toronto. You can also see this Instagram post we've got up here. That's Kawhi's sister. The caption is, "Be patient."
Yeah.
To which somebody was like, "Oh, maybe we have breaking news." And she's like, no, just be patient, people. One player that is awaiting Kawhi's decision urgently is Danny Green. He spoke about waiting for Kawhi on his podcast. Take a listen to Inside the Green Room.
Worried also. All those things come across the board. If I miss out on opportunities to get the short of the stick, which would suck. So I'm hoping that he makes the decision soon. We have a couple things in place that's lined up. We're going to see how much longer these games will wait. I don't think much longer than another day or so. And then hopefully a good decision comes out of it, not just for him but for me.
If Danny's right, and it is only a day or so, that's going to be good news for the Lakers because they have now put themselves in a bit of an urgent situation. Listen to Bobby Marks break down the ticking clock the LA Lakers are on. He did this on Golic and Wingo.
What's supposed to happen is that the Lakers are going to use their $32 million in cap space if or without Kawhi Leonard. They're going to sign Kawhi or free agents and build out the roster, and then they were going to do the Anthony Davis trade. That's kind of how it has to work. And I'm looking at the timing of this. We're 48 hours from July 6th, right? At noon, you can start making trades. What happens if this Kawhi Leonard decision lingers into Sunday, where teams are not going to wait?
So what he's explaining is once the trades start getting executed, the cap space shrinks. These are Kawhi's max contract options. If the Lakers execute the AD trade before they sign Kawhi, they will have $11 million less to offer over the life of the contract than the other teams. So, Perk, when you see this window of opportunity maybe closing for the Lakers, what do you think it's like for Kawhi knowing that this additional factor is now looming out there too?
Well, I mean, we talking about $11 million, right? So it's not like it's apples and oranges. I mean, and Kawhi seems like a dude that's obviously he wants the money, but $11 million shouldn't make him hurry up and rush his decision. If he lose out on it, I'm pretty sure he'll make it up in other areas signing with the Lakers.
Right.
I'm just jealous that it's not me in this kid wall right now.
With all of those different numbers? Can you explain a little bit more why the cap space shrinks once the trades execute?
Right, so the whole $32 million number is based on the idea that they have the space, go out, sign players, and then do the Anthony Davis trade. Remember, Brandon Ingram, Alonzo Ball, Josh Hart, these guys are still technically Lakers. Anthony Davis is still technically a Pelican. So until that trade happens, their numbers are on the books. They're lower numbers. Once the deal gets done, they got less space because now you're going with the current actual numbers of Anthony Davis's contract on the books. That's what's going on here. And as Bobby Marks said, Pelicans don't want to do the Lakers any favors.
Right.
July 6th hits. Where's
At
my
noon.
people? Where are my players? Where are all my picks? I want them now, right?
Right.
Like
Did you
50
want
Cent,
them-
they want it right now.
Right.
So now here's the thing about
And by the way, it's not just the Pelicans because there's been
Absolutely.
trades made off of that trade,
right.
right? So you have teams that want to get their rookies, the people that they've drafted into summer league that they were drafting for someone else
Right.
who's drafting for someone else.
Right, and I'm pretty sure no team want to do the Lakers any favors
Well,
right now. So, especially if they have a chance at landing Kawhi.
Absolutely. But there's one thing, that graphic is correct, but it assumes one very important thing, that Kawhi wants to sign 5 or 4 years.
Okay.
If he's signing a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal, I'm not saying that's what he's thinking. I'm saying that's an option available to him, especially because if he becomes a 10-year vet, the max is much higher.
Yes.
Right.
So it may not be even that much money left on the table for him.
Right.
There's a situation where he comes to the Lakers after an AD trade, but instead of 4 years, 127, it's 3 years or even 2 years, and then he comes back into free agency and reaps the benefits.
Here's where the possible 11 million is maybe more of a factor. What if that date passes, Kawhi still hasn't made the decision, the Lakers have been holding this space open for him, and then a day or two later he says, you know what, actually I'm staying in Toronto. Then they have less money to go after other guys.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is accurate. So the cap space shrinks either way, whether
Right.
Kawhi comes or not. But now that
But it's not just Kawhi who might pay the quote price of that.
well, I mean, or it might be the Lakers. They just might be able to afford 2 guys instead of 3 guys, or
Right.
2 of the guys that they really like Danny Green, who's
Right.
one, and another name that no one's really mentioned, who had a really good year last year, Marcus Morris, who's
Absolutely.
represented by Clutch Management.
Yes.
So those are 2 players who, if Kawhi doesn't go to the Lakers, they've got some money lined up for him probably.
Right. Although Danny Green, it seems like if Kawhi comes back to the Raptors,
He might go back to
indications
Toronto.
are that he would want to go run it back with
Yeah.
him there. We'll have to see, though, what he decides and where he wants to go. It feels like everybody knows everything these days, and we are tracking the airplanes, or at least someone is. So we know a little bit. It's crazy. But the stage, when you get to the airplane tracking stage of any story, how though have Kawhi's camp been able to keep this so quiet in terms of what he's thinking, what he might do? Why don't we know more when we usually know about everything about every player?
Well, I mean, you gotta give praise to him in this camp. I mean, those guys they're running things the right way. I mean, you go back to even to last year with the Spurs, the way they handled things with the Spurs organization. Kawhi took a lot of heat, but they did what was best for Kawhi, and that's what you want in your corner. You want guys who's working, who's doing the right things, who's on your side. And I love what his camp is doing. It's no leaks whatsoever. It's airtight, and that's a lot of trust in that circle. He got me over here tripping because I want to know. I thought I was going to wake up to
We
some
looking at
breaking
you,
news.
by the way. You're the number 1 source right now for all these news. So we
No,
wait for you to break the news.
not Kawhi. Kawhi only talked to me one time. That was after the championship, and he said, I appreciate you. I've been watching you. Thanks for all the love. And I was like, okay, Kawhi. Well, send me a jersey in the mail. I gave him my address.
It is interesting, though, because it's how they talk. It's not just how they may or might not leak to the media. A lot of leaks happen because someone in a camp or an agent or somebody
Right.
will talk to another team about something, about plans, right?
Right.
And that someone at that other team will leak it.
Yeah, and agents are probably the number 1 leak. And so when you look at Kawhi in this camp, it's a secret society. All we ask is trust. So remember, Rachel, when they were going through the things with the Spurs, and you said there's some mending fences due on both sides. I said no, because only one side was doing the talking.
Right.
Throughout that whole Spurs thing, did you
Yeah.
ever hear Kawhi say, man, that's messed up, man,
Nope.
they're talking about me this way, or leaks saying that Kawhi's upset? We never heard anything.
Right.
Because their camp, in a throwback, it's a throwback, right, to a day where you could tell somebody a secret,
Yes.
and it would stay a secret.
Yes.
And so I applaud them for their ability to control this narrative better than probably anybody in modern times NBA.
Yeah, and look, we joke about the Kawhi Light Zone, but it is really sort of the state of affairs. Normally, we're operating with so much more information.
Right.
Here, it's just a haze of rumors and wisps on the wind, and we'll all find out what happens in the end, just like an episode of TV. It'll be a big surprise, a lot of
patient.
fun.
And you know,
Boom.
I look, I'm with Kawhi. Take your time
Take your
because this
time.
is a life-changing thing for him. Although he didn't got paid, but you talking about leaving a city that you just won a championship in. You talking about a possibility of maybe joining LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I mean, this take time, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think he should take all the time in the world. Don't rush it. Hey,
And this,
It's
by
a
the
gr-
way, it's not so much longer than some other free agency decisions. We've just had more attention on it than in past years. We've had LeBron take until July 9th, July 11th.
Rachel, you remember the story I told about interviewing Steve Fisher, and he said if it were up to Kawhi, he'd still be trying to pick what school he's going to today, right? He's
Right.
just a slow decision maker when it comes to these big life things.
Right.
Now, the funny thing is, Jason Dumas, who was a reporter, tweeted out, when Kawhi was going to San Diego State, they weren't for sure that he would come until he showed up for summer school. They couldn't get in contact with him until he showed up for the first day of summer school. So again, this isn't out of the norm for him.
Right.
He's a guy who takes his time with big decisions.
Well, we have the official start date of next season, Kawhi. I can forward that to you if you want to wait until then to make your decision. Coming up, we're going to talk about Jimmy Butler and some suggestions that the Rockets might be better off without him.
Jimmy.
This dude.
Jimmy
I
is
see
certainly
him.
doing well without them. That's all I got to say. First, though, here's our distant replay. It's this date, 1992. Little Dream Team preview for you. That's always fun.
Wow. Okay.
Miss Rookies. Ever wonder what Stephen A would look like if he were much better at basketball than he is? And in 2K, well, you're in luck.
Oh,
He's in
man.
there.
Oh.
Is
Look
he
at
the answer for the Knicks?
Look at the throwback socks, though.
With the hoodie on. Yeah, let me tell you something. I don't know if this would be Stephen A's dream or his nightmare to play for the Knicks
That's
because
true.
there's so much heartache and headache he already going through right now. If he actually played for the team, the paycheck would be better.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
all the noise talking to you?
Oh,
Boy, you probably have classic lines. Look at him.
Now, he'll let you.
Hey.
He'll got a scrapbook from when he played at Winston-Salem State. He'll tell you that he was doing probably some of these things.
Man.
He was not doing that, I tell you
Right.
that. Now that he might have been doing. Make backdrops. Here's Giannis in Greece with his brother. Working on some little dribble and like handling drills there. Nice backdrop. I
Oh,
mean,
my
Perk,
God.
if this was how you were working on your basketball, you'd still be in the league.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but look, you got to pray. I love this. This is a make because, look, Giannis could be taking time off right now, but he's working with his brother, man. He's just trying to get better. That's why you got to love this guy, and that's why he's the MVP.
How blessed is the Antetokounmpo family? They've got
Yes.
four boys. They all play ball. They all fairly good.
Yeah.
One of them is really
Really,
good.
really, really
Right.
good.
Gotta be proud. Gotta be proud.
All right, Miss Safety, check out this violent bowling machine.
Oh, no.
It only bowls strikes, and that is
Wow.
like, bam, right?
You know who bowls like that?
Oh,
Tracy McGrady.
wow.
Remember we went bowling in LA at
Yeah.
Lucky Strike? And he doesn't bowl, he pitches.
He
You know,
pitches, but he's a baseball
So
pitcher.
he throws
We've
it.
seen the robots who are perfect at hitting threes.
They're
Right.
taking over the world.
Chris Paul.
That's Dirk. That ain't no robot.
Chris Paul is a pretty serious bowler. He has like a charity bowling
Yes.
tournament every year.
Russell
He needs to
Westbrook,
get
too.
this robot
Yeah.
on his team.
Yeah.
Russ ball.
Yeah.
Now,
They
come up with everything.
When Tracy bowls, the ball doesn't touch the ground.
I
It just-
mean, if it works, it works. Make free time. Is anyone enjoying their summer vacation more than Kevin Love? No,
Oh,
they
my.
are not. This is him hitting, and he wanted to make sure everyone knows they're biodegradable golf balls, and they are on a driving range.
Where?
Kyle Kuzma on a glacier. Kevin Kuzma tweets, Kevin Love has had the best summer I've ever seen anyone have.
You
He
know-
was in a national park doing with the rocks. He was touring around
K-Love.
Southeast
There you
Asia.
Wow.
Right? And then, yes, he's been in Whistler, which is where you get these photos, and then him on the glacier contemplating life.
Really
Wow.
quick, you know who's having the worst summer? Pablo Torre. His Instagram is awful. Get back to high noon, man. Your vacation looks like it's miserable the whole time.
K-Love, living your best life, man. I love it, man.
Miss invites.
Uh-oh.
Kirk, you
Oh.
posted this pic yesterday with your former Celtic squad. You, Rondo Pierce, KG, Sam Cassell.
Is that me or Suge Knight?
Oh.
You gotta have the red jacket on for that. Hold on.
I don't even want to bring up who is missing in that picture
Listen.
because that is well-covered
Why are you
ground.
doing that?
Listen.
No, I want to know what you talked about.
Oh, we talked about everything. Listen, we stayed in that room for 4 hours.
I buy
literally.
that.
And obviously, KG and Paul took over the room as usual with their jokes. They was telling me how much weight I gained. And KG was like, God darn, boy, look how big you is, boy. I'm like, man, look. They had a, you know how you go to college, you put on the freshman 15.
Right.
I put on the retirement 30. I'm eating good right now. I don't have to work out, do nothing. I get back on in a couple
man.
months.
I hear
He get there. Dirk Nowitzki said that he's eaten ice cream every day since he
I don't
retired.
blame him.
Right?
Just think about it.
Dirk
We had to
Nowitzki.
diet and sacrifice. Hey, KG, chill out, man.
Right? We've seen Dwayne Wade, obviously,
Yeah.
enjoying his best life since he
Yeah.
retired. It's been a long time. You guys all deserve it. Welcome back to Las Vegas. We are here at the Jump at Summer League, but I want to talk a little bit about a seasoned vet, Andre Iguodala. Widely assumed that after Iggy was traded to Memphis, he would be bought out by the Grizzlies, but Tim McMahon reporting the Grizz are actively exploring the trade market for the former Finals MVP. Makes sense, right? There's a lot of teams who want him, so why not get some value? McMahon saying that the Rockets have some interest. Iggy entering the final year of his contract, $17 million per. What do you think about that? If they'll find, do you think they will find a trade partner for Iggy?
No, I think there's a market for him. Like you say, he can still play. He's still a productive player. He's got great experience. I don't know if you read the Ethan Strauss article in the Athletic about Andre Iguodala, what he meant to that team.
Yes.
He was a leader on that team. He wasn't a bench player. He was a bench mob boss, right? But the other thing about this, I saw someone on Twitter said, wow, the Grizzlies could get a first-round pick to take him and then another first-round pick to give him up.
Right.
Has that ever happened? And I said, yes. Kurt Thomas in 2007. We traded him from Phoenix to Oklahoma City. They got 2 firsts from us, and then they flipped him, I believe, to San Antonio and got another first out of that. When you have a player like Kurt Thomas, like Andre Iguodala, vets who know how to win, who are still productive, there's always a market for them.
Always. I mean, I could name several teams that need Andre Iguodala. I could see him with the Rockets. I could see him with OKC Thunder.
Tim McMahon, the other team that he brought up besides the Rockets was the Dallas Mavericks.
Mavericks, I could see that also. Shoot. I mean, Utah already been stacked up. Why not give it a shot? I mean, but like Iggy got he have a lot left in the tank. I think he led the playoffs last year in dunks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like he's still productive, still a great asset to be on the court, and I think, Memphis might want to keep him.
I don't think so.
It is
Why not,
interesting,
though?
I don't think he's going to want to stay.
He probably don't want to stay, but I'm saying Memphis is saying something by saying, hey, we might want to trade for you, or you might want to stay. We might want to keep you, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's an interesting thing, too, to see how different front offices operate, and that's where you see the front office advantage so much in different corners of the league. There are some front offices who, as soon as they get these vet players, just cut them. We've seen that with the Suns a couple times, right? And then you have front offices that say, we will wait until the last possible moment to find someone to take him so we can get something back for
Because
him.
worst case scenario, you're paying them to stay at home.
Right.
And if money is not an issue, where we're counting each last dollar, then you have that ability to do that.
Right, absolutely. I want to get to Jimmy Butler as well, because there's a report on ESPN.com where a lot of scouts and executives anonymously sort of quoted saying that the Rockets, quote, dodged a bullet by missing out on Butler. One league source said, quote, Butler is not exactly a calming influence. Now, I have to say, in these stories, if you give rival executives the chance to talk anonymously about another front office or player, they will. Obviously, Jimmy Butler felt he dodged a bit of a bullet too, because he did not explore really going to the Rockets. He met with the Heat, and that's where he wanted to go, and that's where the sign and trade happened. I would personally say they dodged a bullet with each other. Is that the best way to put it?
I think sometimes
it's not a great fit.
When you hear a story like that, it makes it seem like he's bad, they're good, or they're bad and he's too good for them. Sometimes it's just not the right fit.
Not the right fit.
And I think there's an element of truth in that. They have a lot of acrimony, and Jimmy comes in, and he's not a sugarcoat kind of guy.
Right.
He's not a, I'm going to make you feel good even though you're wrong here. He's going to tell you exactly how it is. And in a sensitive situation like Houston's in, maybe that's not the right voice to be in the room at the time. On the other hand, Miami's where they always wanted to be. We talked about this before. If you think about all the things that Jimmy Butler is about, that's the Miami Heat culture.
Yep.
There's no better fit I could think of between a player and a team than Jimmy and Miami.
Well, I agree with that, but I do have a point. The Rockets are not better off with Jimmy. And I'm going to tell you why. For the simple fact that he don't sugarcoat it. That's what the Rockets need. They need honesty. He want to win the title, so they need a guy like him to hold guys accountable.
Right.
Also, this is a Houston native. He's going back to his hometown. You don't think he's going to play with a lot of pride if he was with the Rockets, play with his heart out to try to bring a championship to Houston? So I think, are the Rockets better off with Jimmy Butler? Absolutely not. You add Jimmy Butler to this team right now because the West is wide open. It makes the Rockets better, in my opinion.
Right.
But I understand the part what you're saying about the culture, about how it matched well with Miami. But we can't look too deep into it.
Right.
I'd rather take a player that's going to ruffle the feathers sometimes, but that's going to still go out here and give me 25, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals.
No, the basketball part.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but the Rockets need some of that,
That's
though.
true.
They need some of that.
Well, wouldn't you argue, though, the Rockets have someone who's not afraid to speak his mind and ruffle feathers in Chris Paul?
No, I can't argue that. He's been very quiet.
Publicly.
He's been very quiet. Yeah, publicly.
Which is what you want. You don't want them to take the problems out of house.
Yeah,
but in-house, we're getting reports that he's not happy with the way the offense is being run.
But see, the problem is with CP, I think CP needed to do a self-check because he asked to be traded out of New Orleans. Okay, then he went to the Clippers. They had little issues there. He asked to be traded out of there. Now he's having problems with the Rockets. So sooner or later, you got to point your finger at yourself because it can't be all three of the organizations. It might be you that might be the problem.
Well, Chris is a strong personality, too, and that is part of the fit issue with the Rockets and Jimmy Butler, where I was always like, wow, that's a lot of strong personalities in one. Chris Paul and Jimmy Butler, when people are upset about the way they speak their mind, the people who are in their corner often say, right, they just want to win so badly, and they think they see how they can do it. And I understand both of those approaches. I'm not sure you can have both of them in the same locker room.
You know what? You know what? One other point. You know who they took for granted, though? Trevor Ariza.
Yep.
They took. Yep. I think the Rockets took Trevor Ariza for granted. He was the only person on that team with a championship, with the championship pedigree. None of these other guys ever won a ring. None of these other guys ever touched the NBA Finals. And I think they took him for granted. They should have made it a priority to sign him back.
You are not the only one, Kendrick Perkins. You got a lot of Rockets fans who are saying he's singing my chorus. We're going to be talking coming up about Zion and RJ Barrett because they're going to be playing on this court behind us.
I will
just
be
hours
here.
from now. We will break it down. Jonathan Gavoni's going to be joining us. Maybe Perk's going to go out on that court. Stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen.
The time at 30, right?
To RJ, we expect Zion, John Morant, right, to have big crowds here and a lot of fun at Summer League. But are there rookie sleepers that you expect to emerge here when we're in Las Vegas?
Yeah, Carson Edwards is the guy that I'm really looking forward to seeing. He broke the NCAA tournament record with 28 three-pointers in 4 games. He dropped 42 points on Virginia, the national champions, the best defense in college basketball. This guy is ready to come in and make an impact, and the Summer League setting is built for him. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does out here for the Boston Celtics.
Do you have any sleeper picks, either one of you guys?
I got 2 sleeper picks. I've been watching the Sacramento Summer League. Marquise Bowman for Duke. Yeah. He's been playing extremely well for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're really high on him right now. Also, if you look at Shamari Pons that came from St. John's, he didn't get drafted. Houston knew they didn't have a draft pick. They signed him right away to, I think, a 2 or 3 year deal because I coached him at the Combine, and he actually was the best point guard at the Combine. He just didn't pass the quote-unquote NBA eye test because of the body fat. But, hey, if he could put the ball in the basket and he could go out there and be productive, I don't care if he weigh 100 and, 2,000 pounds or whatever.
So did he get the retirement 30 before he even got into the NBA? Is that what happened to him?
I pulled him to the side and told him, hey, this is what you got to do, man. You got to trim up. I gave him the real. But he's one of my sleepers. And Houston knew that they was taking him. And that's why they signed him with no hesitation.
The vet leadership of Kendrick Perkins extended
lives
past his
on.
playing career.
Exactly.
Now, I would just throw out Tyler Hero for Miami. A lot of times guys go to Kentucky and they're asked to play a role. And so you hear Tyler Hero's a shooter, but his percentages don't really say that he's a great shooter. Much like Devin Booker when he was at Kentucky, great shooter, but the numbers didn't really say that. But you see them in a different setting, being asked to do different things, and most importantly, with spacing around them. Because in the NBA game, you have much more room to operate. I think he's going to have a good summer league.
And then also, we go have some guys that's out there that we going to be like, wow, who is that? That's fighting for them jobs. They're going to have guys that's probably on the Pelicans who go look forward to guarding RJ Barrett to make a name for themselves. So that's the ones you got to look out for also. That's
one of the most fun things about either being here at Summer League or watching it on TV. You get to watch these guys, then in 3 years, 4 years, when they really fully mature into the powerhouse NBA players that we know they get to, you can say, well, I remember in Summer League when he did this. You get to be one of those people. That's, why to keep it locked here all day.
I love it. It's the best.
Here's also what The Jump recommends for today, in addition to Summer League. Mark Spears of The Undefeated, writing about Michael Porter Jr.'s struggles to get on an NBA court. I want you to read that during the break because we're going to talk about what's happened in this latest day or two with Michael Porter Jr. It's a big story when we get back. Entire rookie season recovering from back surgery, but reportedly suffering a left knee sprain in a minicamp scrimmage on Wednesday. And according to Mike Singer of the Denver Post, he is unlikely to play in Summer League at all. Jonathan, what do you think of this development for him as he is just trying to get on the court to Because his upside is so high, right?
I think this is more of a bummer for us than it is for him. My understanding is that it's a very minor injury and that if this was a regular season game, he would be playing. They're keeping him out for precautionary reasons, but he would have been one of the big attractions here, so it's just unfortunate for us, but he's going to be fine long term.
Hey, I just say more minutes for him in preseason, right? So just get healthy, young fella. The sky's the limit. I know he wanted to come out here and showcase his skills in summer league, but we'll wait till September, October. Watch you during preseason. He'll be able to get his work done.
That's what I was saying. It's a bummer for us. It's a bummer for him. He hasn't played competitive basketball in how long?
Absolutely.
An opportunity to show the world that, hey, Jonathan, you said during the break, he's the number 2 prospect going into college. He's like, everyone forgot about me. They talk about all these other players. So this is a great kind of way to come out and showcase your skills. And the other thing about Summer League is it's not NBA basketball, but it's your first taste of the routine. Getting on the bus, and we go out here, get our shots up, and then we go back in the locker room, and then we come out and play, and then the halftime and all that stuff.
Although he was with Denver, don't you think that he got a little bit
It's
of it this
different
past
when you're
year?
doing it.
When you're the guy
as opposed
doing
to
it?
just sitting in the corner.
Right.
He was dominating practices, they said. I mean, they were just so excited about what he had been showing in practices with their pro guys. And so I think he's going to be a guy that, potentially maybe Rookie of the Year candidate coming up here.
Well, I mean, look, with Joel Embiid, he had several false starts before he finally regularly got on the court. It worked out for him. So maybe we'll see what happens with Michael Porter Jr. Jonathan, we had a great rookie class, but sometimes we see second-year players in Summer League too. Which second-year player do you think will make the biggest leap next season?
Kevin Knox is a guy I'm looking forward to. I mean, he lit this Summer League ablaze last year in the first weekend. Everybody was talking about him. He made first team all Summer League, averaged 22 points a game, and then had just kind of an okay year. He was up and down. He had a couple injuries. He was not very efficient. Tonight is a great opportunity to see him alongside R.J. Barrett, Alonzo Trier, Mitchell Robinson. I think that he's going to have a big night tonight.
Well, he's not playing, but Jaren Jackson Jr. next year. I mean, this is a guy, a year ago, I don't know why everyone's overlooking this guy.
Right.
And he had a great year in Memphis.
Great year.
But, the sky's the limit for his skill set and his size. And now with Mike Conley getting traded, Gasol got traded last season. It's his team. We talked to him, remember, on draft day, Rachel, about how he's transitioning to becoming more of a leader as opposed to just a guy learning from the vets in the locker room. So I expect him to have a big year next year.
I agree. I'm going with Jared Jackson Jr. because for the simple fact, forget that he's skilled and talented. That tenacity, he reminds me of a KG. I'm not saying he's Kevin Garnett, but the way he plays, his emotions, his everything about him, that body, that just everything he brings to the court, that will, that drive, I love it. And he plays with that tenacity, and I love it. And I think he's ready for this. And he's going to,
Is it Jaren Jackson Jr.? If you're paying attention, he just got better and better through his rookie year. I mean, was there anyone who maybe disappointed you a little bit in his rookie season who you think can really take a step forward and make a big leap in his second year?
Oh, disappointing rookies. Oh, you got me on the spot here. Hold on. Is that you want to jump in?
I got it first.
I want to see Marvin Bagley in the Summer League. He's going to play here. A lot of the rookies from last year are not playing. I don't think he had a disappointing year by any means, but I think there's a lot more to his game that we haven't seen yet. And this Summer League setting is built for him. He can handle the ball. He can shoot from outside. He's a dominant player inside. He's a great rebounder. I think he's going to have a huge Summer League this week.
Excellent. And Jonathan, look, we're a whole 2 weeks from the draft having happened. So, you're on the clock now, I figure, for the 2020 draft. Let's just get right to it. In your mock, I think you had point guard Cole Anthony as the number 2 or number 3 prospect. He a lot of people keep talking about him. Is he one of your most exciting players at the top of that draft?
He's definitely one of the most well-known. This guy is built for the college game. He's an incredible scorer. He's very, very aggressive. It's going to be an interesting class of point guards because we're not exactly sure who the best one is. Anthony Edwards is in the mix too. R.J. Hampton, LaMelo Ball playing in Australia, someone to watch. It's a very open draft right now. James Wiseman is number 1 right now, but we're not 100% sure that he's going to be the guy that's the number 1 pick.
Yeah, Cole Anthony is such an interesting prospect because, first of all, the bloodlines. His father's Greg Anthony.
Sure.
And, I had the opportunity to work with Greg at SiriusXM, and I've asked him a lot of questions about Cole's development. And his thing was, I never pushed him into basketball, and he wasn't really interested in basketball for the longest time. Then once he got into it, it just stuck. And you see the work ethic, you see the desire. It's not a Todd Marinovich kind of situation.
Right.
Like, get in the gym.
Right.
He's doing it on his own. And so I think whenever you look at our league today, so many of these players are second-generation NBA players now. And the leg up that they get just in terms of knowing how to take care of your body, knowing how to work, not just saying I was in the gym for 3 hours, but doing the right work in the gym. I think that's going to give him a great leg up.
Well, I like the Edwards kids. I watched him play. He could really go. I mean, he could flat out play. I was listening to all the hype, and I actually went to one of his games, and he really impressed me. So I think the sky's the limit for him also in the 2020 draft.
Yeah, and look, let's not forget, too, that the sons of NBA players have another big advantage. They grow up with money, usually, which means special training and coaching.
Right.
And I'm not kidding.
Eating
like that's
eating
great,
well
eating
healthy,
and eating the right food and all of that stuff. Someone who's there after school with you to sort of, I mean, that stuff all matters. So that's an advantage as well. We've got Matisse Thybulle coming up in this game. What do you make of him, and what do you think we're going to see of him in Summer League? Because, man, a lot of people during the draft talking about his defensive work.
A lot of steals and a lot of blocks. I mean, we saw him in the zone all year at Washington, and he did things that we had never been done in college basketball in terms of averaging 3 steals and 2 blocks. What is he going to do in a man-to-man defense? That's what we want to see today. And how good of a shooter is he going to be? Because if he can't make shots, he's not going to get on the floor for Philadelphia. So does he make a couple of 3-pointers today?
Absolutely. That was my question. If you hadn't mentioned that, offensively, is he good enough to be on the floor? Because there is a Mendoza line. If you're not good enough offensively in today's league, we're just not going to guard you, and it makes life harder on everybody else.
It's rare to see a guy average 9 points a game as a senior in college and be a first-round pick. It very rarely happens.
Right.
And so he's got to prove today that his defense is going to carry him going to the NBA season.
Right. He got to be special at it. He got to be something that Coach Brown want to play. Brown want to play him for us, because if he's not knocking down the shots, then he has to be a Tony Allen or a Patrick Beverly type player in order for him to get on the court. So I'm really interested to see how he do offensively today too.
Right, and look, Philadelphia is a team that needs shooting, right?
Yeah.
They can't afford to have yet another guy on the floor who can't shoot. That floor needs to be spaced. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. You'll see Jonathan all over Summer League. Up next, we're going to talk about the Knicks. Why did they cancel their meeting with Kawhi Leonard before free agency began? Was it just to make Stephen A. Smith crazy? We'll explain a little bit more about it. First, though, it's time for another distant replay from this date last year.
Summer League.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Derrick Jones Jr. with authority.
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
what do you say to this?
Little rocket by, crossover, take it to the
They didn't want to trade him.
and drop him off.
They said we want to hold on to him.
Yeah, better.
Hit and the Billboard made their campaign to bring him to San Antonio. The boot scootin' boogie, get it? Billboard, right?
Yeah.
According to ClutchPoints.com.
I don't actually.
I don't either.
One hour after it was reported, DeMar DeRozan reached out to Boogie about potentially teaming up with the Spurs. So even if you don't know the boot scootin' boogie, because that was not, I
thought it was a Texas thing.
I never heard it in my life.
Shouldn't you, of all people, know the boot scootin' boogie?
Nah, San Antonio do things different.
What do you think of potentially a DeMar and Cousins team up?
Look, I think it's a great opportunity for DeMarcus to get to a situation where they're going to use him the right way and he can showcase himself. Again, it's all about, am I going to get minutes? That's the most important thing for him right now.
All right. Reason for hope. It's been a rough week of free agency for Knicks fans, but never fear. There's a silver lining. Caesars Sportsbook has the New York Knicks as the favorites to win Summer League. There you go.
Yeah, why not? Look, I will tell you something. You know who else won Summer League? The Golden State Warriors once upon a time. We saw Draymond Green out here, and then where he come? An NBA champion. You know who else won Summer League? The San Antonio Spurs, and they're a great organization. The Sacramento Kings, who we saw this year, finally looked like almost a playoff team. They won Summer League too. So if the Knicks win Summer League, it is a good thing.
I don't know. I disagree with this. Just for the simple fact, we don't know if RJ Barrett go play the whole Summer League.
That's
so
true.
We can't just say that. In order for them to win, for them to be the favorite, he has to play every game, and I don't think he plays all games in the Summer League.
I'm trying, Perk. I'm trying to give him
Come
hope,
on.
man.
Trying to do what he can. Since we are on the Knicks, you know they're the headline machine that just keeps on printing there. Multiple reports, guys, saying that New York and Kawhi Leonard actually had a scheduled meeting for Wednesday after the Lakers and Clippers, but Knicks brass canceled it. One of the reported reasons was it did not fit into their schedule. Now, I don't know if that means like, hey, we also had coffee at 2, so we can't do it. Or more the schedule being the idea of, hey, the teams that are waiting for Kawhi have to wait for Kawhi, and they may have decided they didn't have enough chance of getting him. It wasn't worth
Rachel,
waiting.
it's not. I promise Rachel I'd help her move.
Right.
Right. This was, it's the thing that the Lakers are going through. We can wait, but if he doesn't come, then who are we going to spend this money on? Who can we get? And here's the thing that we have to keep in mind. You got to be realistic. The Knicks would say, we met with Kawhi. You all think Kawhi would pick the Knicks? Does that sound like a situation that's better than the Lakers, Clippers, or Raptors? No, he's not coming to the Knicks whether you meet with him or not. So you got to be realistic and say, rather than wait and miss everybody, we just got to let it go.
Yep.
I'm going to just say this. Nothing surprised me. We got Donald Trump as our president.
Well, I'm not even comparing those apples to apples. And I do want to say, by the way, while we talk a little bit, the anthem here is playing in the arena a little earlier than was scheduled. So all respect, by the way, to the national anthem, our country, especially right as we finish July 4th. I do want to get back to the Knicks, though. We'll stick to that.
Okay, my bad, Rachel. But listen, I don't care how long you had to wait. You got to give Kawhi a meeting. At least hear him out, or at least try to bring some kind of life to the Knicks organization, in my opinion.
If they already promised the money to 6 other dudes, you gonna meet with Kawhi and lie to him and say, "Hey, we're gonna find the money"?
But
somehow?
you never knows. Anything could happen.
Now you're giving them hope.
Yeah.
As you can hear, our summer league game is going to be starting Sixers Bucks, and we'll be back with you later in the day.